Mars. Mars is cold, it's dry, and it's lifeless. If you lived on Mars, you would not be living for long. You see, it only has 1% of Earth's atmosphere at sea level, and it measures at around negative 140 to 20 degrees Celsius. Very cold. Now, if we ever want to be a multi-planet species, we need to figure out how to make planets like Mars more livable. That is, unless we want to be living in big domes all the time. So, what we need to do is we need to nuke Mars. You see, there's these polar ice caps, and they contain quite a significant amount of water and carbon dioxide. So the idea is, if we nuke these polar ice caps, we will melt the carbon dioxide in the water, will cause a greenhouse effect. Therefore, we should nuke Mars. Now, some people may have some concerns about this proposal, especially given the dubious reputation of the loudest proponent of the plan, Elon Musk. One might argue that detonating enough nukes to melt the Martian poles would have negative consequences, such as irradiating the planet. However, Mars is already considered a hazardous high radiation environment, so adding more radiation shouldn't hurt. Frankly, all that refined radioactive material should help heat up Mars a bit. I mean, in the Martian trilogy they use windmills, so makes a bit more sense. Further, nuking the caps. Further, some may say that nuking the caps would kick up a lot of dust, which may cause a nuclear winter, cooling the planet instead of heating it up. And finally, people may say that Mars would still have a very thin atmosphere after that, and it's not clear if that would be enough to cause any sort of greenhouse effect. A second issue commonly raised with the plan is the realities involved with obtaining and transporting all those bombs. Given the volume of weaponry, accidents will happen, accidents that will spray nuclear material across a big stretch of planet. Not to overstate the danger, for ruining this planet to make a second one isn't a good deal. And second, transporting all those bombs is definitely not going to be something other countries would worry about. Not at all. Especially since calculations have shown that melting the ice caps would require more than humanity's entire nuclear arsenal. Seems this idea is getting less and less reasonable the more we examine it. Perhaps there's ways we can improve upon it. Instead of nuking Mars, we could crash rockets into it. This would avoid having to transport any bombs, and the impact of a rocket coming in from interplanetary trajectory would have much the same effect as a nuclear blast. That's orbital physics for you. If we really still wanted to use nuclear stuff, and somehow we could use nuclear rocketry to propel these rockets that were crashing into Mars. This is a lot. If anyone is familiar with the rocket equation, then turning all those nukes into fuel instead of payload makes a lot of sense, and will allow you to bring a lot more rocket around. You see, the idea of nuclear rockets is that, chemical rockets, they only go so far. There's actual limits that they've calculated in how good a chemical rocket engine can be. So if you want to get better rockets, you need to go to nuclear. You see here, where it's heated by where the fuel is heated by a nuclear rocket to explode really fast. Although really, it's propellant at this point. It's not fuel. Yeah. We could also maybe build a bunch of big mirrors or lenses, but that idea also isn't very practical. You need a lot of planet-sized lenses. So, seems there's not going to be, in conclusion, we should not nuke Mars. It's not a good idea. And it seems there's not going to be any sort of silver bullet for terraforming a planet. Yeah, it's definitely not something that's going to be happening anytime soon. Thank you.
Thank you.